just one big story, isn't it?
Hi everyone, welcome to the Story Connection. I'm your host, Donna Wilberg. Well, everyone has a story to tell, and whether it's fact or fiction, there's usually a story behind the story. We've invited two filmmakers, Sean Farrington and Laureen Fallahay, to talk about their project, Splashed. So welcome, you guys. It's so good to have you on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you.
Well, tell us about this project you've got going on.
A year and a month in the making, from start to finish. It was quite a big project, but essentially it's a film. It's a fiction film about a female bodyguard who takes on a client that has a satchel full of secrets, and those secrets get her involved in a battle over a shipment of girls.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a very tender subject.
It is. It is. And
Yeah.
everyone pretty much says intense when they see it. That's their
Ooh.
one-word description.
Wow. So how did you get involved, Lorraine?
Well, Sean called me up one day and said, I don't know if I'm crazy or not, but I have this idea, and see if you want to talk me off the ledge. And he basically told me about his idea and the story, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I can't talk you off the ledge. I'm going to have to jump with you. So I just went from there and blossomed, and we just had a crazy journey on here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long is the film?
It's 88 minutes.
88 minutes.
Yep.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
It is.
A lot
It
of
is
work. So it was just from start to finish, it took you just a year?
A year and a month. It was started writing, took 2 months to write. It was the fastest thing I'd ever written in 2 months. And then shooting took a little over 3 months. It was piecemeal. So when you condense it all down, it probably took like 13. If you did Hollywood shoot days, it would have been about 13 shoot days.
Yeah.
But spread out over time, just fitting schedules and so forth. Then the rest was just editing, where my wife only saw the back of my head as I was at the computer for months on end.
Yeah, I know how that goes. So what inspired you to write the story?
Really, it was kind of an odd inspiration. I've written a number of other screenplays, and some of them were so large that, being an unknown screenwriter, they would never get budgeted. There's no way that could happen. Battalions of helicopters blowing up. It's like no one can really afford to do that. So I was kind of convicted. Why not write something that I could actually shoot? Write something smaller that I could actually shoot. So that's what I did.
Wow. So who local actors?
All local. Yeah.
Wow. Can you drop names?
Libya Reynolds was the first one I had thought of, because we had shot a short with her about maybe 6 months before that or something like that.
About 6 months for the 48-hour film festival.
Yeah, and she just showed really well on screen. It was one of those things when I saw her, I'm like, she just does a good job. So called her up, asked her, yeah.
Great. So was it easy to get everybody together? How did no? I want to hear details.
No, you're talking, we had about, for cast and crew, it's probably a little over 70 cast and crew members in various locations, and trying to coordinate schedules, because some people were working, some people, it's all these different crazy hours. So most of the people, just trying to make sure that we all had them where they needed to be on the same day, and coordinate. That was it was a task. It was a very daunting task, but it all kind of came together. It was amazing.
And then she had to coordinate me too. That was her job, coordinating everyone. She said it was like herding butterflies.
Butterflies, yeah.
I think that was it.
So what were some of your biggest obstacles to overcome, or challenges making the film?
I don't know. Location changes, crew changes, personnel, like actor changes at last minute, being available, not saying they were going to be available. I had people that were committed from the start of the screenplay. Like, I'm in, 100% I'm in. Like a week before, okay, here's our shoot dates. I can't do it. It was one of those, and it happens in every production.
Sure.
You talked about it in a place called Sacramento. You guys do that. It's a common thing. But it was always amazing how the network of people spread. We knew one person. They're like, I have a great person for that, and they said, well, get him in here. Let's just see. And they'd read. I'm like, you're right. It was perfect. And it was just weird. And we only had a handful of actors. I would say maybe around 5 who had acted before, and then even of that, maybe 2 or 3 that ever acted on screen, which is a completely different thing from theater acting if you've ever done that. So to get those, the others were just people. I mean,
Yeah.
musicians, mechanics, like a correctional officer, and just all on down through the whole gamut of professions.
Wow. Okay, funniest thing that happened on set.
Oh God, a lot of funny things. It was incredible. I guess there's
Trying to think,
There's a couple of things. I don't know if you want to say funny or scary, but there was a lot of interesting things. So we've been writing blogs about our experiences because there's so many different things that have happened, and with the nature of the film. I think the one for me was almost getting arrested at Walmart.
Yeah.
So I was like, and that was for bringing in pictures because my printer broke and I needed these pictures of these little girls. They're in these long T-shirts and they're kind of looking like what you would see as
my
these children that are
goodness, yeah.
captive with the numbers on their neck, and then so brought it in basically because my printer broke and I said, I have a shoot at 5 o'clock. We got to get there, and So go in, I said, I need these, and I told them what it was. I gave them my card, and they're like, not listening. They're like, blah, 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 talking to each other anyway. So go in, turn it in, and I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, and they stall because it's supposed to be an hour ready. And, I had gone back home, and then they called me and said, oh, they're ready. And I'm like, oh, my goodness, God, I have like an hour to get to the shoot, and it's in Cameron Park. Mm-hmm. So I get there and I see a police car and I'm like, oh no, that's for me, I'm sure.
Oh boy.
So I go walking in and the girl's, oh yeah, just a moment, I'll get your pictures. And an officer comes up and says, are these yours? And I'm like, yes, actually they are. And he's like, what is this and what are these for? I go, oh, this is what we're doing, and we're shooting a movie. And I kind of went through and kind of explaining to him, and the whole time running through my mind, I'm going, I'm a single mom, I'm going to jail, I'll never see my daughter, and then I'm also at the same time thinking, God, he's really cute. But so going through all that, and I explained to him, and he just kind of asked me a few more questions. He's like, okay. And I said, I have releases in my car if you want to see them. I go, one of these girls, that's my daughter. So.
Then
That
she
was
throws me under the bus.
Yeah, I said, I go, if you need to find out, I'm doing this for my director, Mr. Sean Farrington.
Yeah.
So,
I called him. Yeah. I was kind of happy too that they actually got, in a weird way, as just a perverted mind of a director, I guess. That I was happy that they looked real enough to get attention. I'm like, right on.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it was like,
they must have been really good.
Yeah.
Very convincing.
Yeah.
Wow.
They really were.
So tell us a little bit more about this story. We're gonna be showing a trailer.
Okay.
So why don't you set things up for us?
Okay. So it's a bodyguard, Chava de la Cruz, female bodyguard. So I like that twist in the whole thing. And she has clients that just she never follow her rules. She claims to only have one rule, but we find out through the story that she probably has more than one rule, and no one follows her rules. And as that kind of breaks down for her. She gets in this situation where one of her clients, her latest client, was a replacement client for one that she violently fired because he wasn't following her rules. And he has this satchel that he carries around, and the satchel ends up basically drawing fire in that battle. Mm-hmm. And it brings her family into it, her daughter, and the other girls, too.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's intense.
Yes, that's what they all say. It's intense.
Well, it's an intense, subject matter too. Which, there was a film last year in a place called Sacramento that was about human trafficking, and it really, we need more attention brought to this topic because it's just not right. So, bravo to you for touching on it, whether it be fact or fiction.
Sure.
There's always a story behind the story.
Sure. I think what I liked about it, too, and I felt was intriguing, was that it was in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. It wasn't Cambodia. It wasn't Thailand. We're the number two place city for human trafficking.
Yeah.
So you think about that. It's happening right now as we're on camera.
Yeah. Well, let's show the trailer.
Cool.
All right.
It's likable enough.
Life choices, Chava. You saw the ads on TV. A new career starts here.
As long as you follow her rules.
When I take these jobs, I specifically ask, will there be any criminal activity? My rule, Timo, I do not protect criminals.
Aren't we gonna need that?
I don't do guns.
You're a girl with one rule. You sure have lots of rules.
You're really Joe's bullet catcher.
I'm a simple girl with simple needs.
Personal stop, a birthday, you have a daughter.
I'll find and destroy you and your family.
Mama's good as dead. No one to protect you. is Darwinian beauty. Girls are gone tonight. It's a one-night operation. By daylight.
My girl is being hunted right now. You better find. These girls don't have any parents coming to save them.
Are you gonna kill the bad guys?
Splashed.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's intense. Really intense. How did you know, that's a lot of the choreography with the fighting. That's a lot of work. You guys really moved quickly on this.
We did. I actually started the choreography while I was still finishing the screenplay. I had some scenes in mind, and I was like, well, let's just go ahead and do this. And I think the greatest part of that story, since you like stories, it was done on zero budget. And by zero budget, I honestly mean no credit cards maxed out, family didn't give money, it was $0. So.
Wow. Well, okay, so that's kind of a story in itself. I imagine there were a lot of people that were happy to contribute their time and efforts because of the subject matter and because it's, and hopefully it has a happy ending.
Yes, it does, I believe. Everyone cheers for one aspect of it at the end.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But I mean, you know, the action adventure and you know, just it sounds like a hero story.
It is, it really is. We do have a hero, and you know, people are just, some of the people we hang out with are just crazy enough to do movies. That's really what it comes down to. So if there's something that seems like it's going to go ahead and they're in, they're just in.
Oh, super. Okay, we've got a red carpet clip that we're going to see too. That
Oh yeah, definitely.
of the premiere. So why don't we take a look at that?
And I have with me here our star of the show, Miss Liviere Reynolds, who played the part of Miss Chava de la Cruz. So, when you were asked to do this film, what were your thoughts?
Of course, I would love to. I had been praying for a couple days about something to do, a project that would, you know, fulfill my creativity, and then Sean called me, and it was just perfect. Meant to be.
This is Lorena, and I'm standing here with Brandon Burgess, who was actually one of our musicians that had put a score together for the movie. So, Brandon, what did you think when you were asked to do something like this for this little crazy movie?
I thought it was, I was excited, you know. Sean came to me, he's like, hey, we need some music. And I'm like, man, and the fact that he asked me, I felt so honored.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have Alan Koshiyama here with me, who did some scoring for the movie Splashed. And Alan, so when Sean asked you to do this, what was your first thought, basically?
What was my first thought? I guess the amount of work that was needed in a very short amount of time, but I was just, it was just cool. You know, I actually went to high school with Sean, and so we go way back, and in a way this film kind of reunited with us. I work with him now, but when we first were reunited, he told me about this film, and I just feel very blessed to be a part of it.
Evil villain, Mr. Modine. Yes. Mike McManus, who played the part and exceptionally well. Mike, so what were your thoughts about this when you were asked to play this part?
When I was asked to play this part, I was a little bit overwhelmed because I didn't know really what type of movie this was and what kind of role I was getting. And I think the biggest challenge was after I read for the part, Sean asked me to have a Southern accent. And I told him, yeah, no problem. I can do it.
Wow. What an event. Yeah. Well, congratulations. That's a big accomplishment.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people out there who dream about writing a script and having it made into a movie, and they do actually try to put it together, but it is a lot of work, and you guys rocked. That's super. So, how difficult a time did you have during this? Were you losing sleep?
No. Yeah. No, it was. It was one of the most difficult things I've ever done, actually, as far as just the stress of getting it done and so forth. After it was in the can, it wasn't too bad. I mean, when I knew it was going to get done after that, but getting it in the can was pretty intense. So.
Then it became my stress after.
Yeah, that was really, we swapped out. We high-fived, tagged each other out, and she started handling more of it. So.
Oh, yeah. Wow. And definitely because we did have the premiere at the Crest on March 7th, and our goal was to at least get 400 or so people in there. Well, we had, I believe, it was probably almost close to 900 people, which was a very big surprise. And we had a lot of crazy people. Our crew and cast and crew basically, they actually went out and sold tickets too, and we had people going through tickets.com, and it was just amazing how everybody was just so invested in this.
And thousands got donated to Courage Worldwide, who actually works in this area in Sacramento, redeeming girls from human trafficking. So.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, it was awesome to be able to do that.
Wow. So, what's your next project, Sean?
Yeah, we've got a few of them in the works, actually. One of them is called My Yakuza Bride, and Yakuza, for those who don't know, is the Japanese mafia. And so My Yakuza Bride is about a graphic novelist, so a guy who draws comic books, who ends up gets forced into wedlock by a girl who's on the run from her life as a mafia hitwoman, a Japanese mafia hitwoman.
Wow, you don't mess around.
No, we've got a few others in the works too.
What do you eat before you go to bed?
It's less sleep is what it really comes down to. So yeah.
Okay, so where do your stories come from?
I actually I spend sessions on story development. So I'll just go through with ideas, and I have certain things that I work up as like prompts, idea prompts, that I sit and work through different ideas. Like I keep a catalog of professions, like unique professions that I'm into, like graphic novelist. I'm like, well, that's kind of a unique thing. And then obviously a hit woman versus a hit man. I'm like, I'm kind of interested in that too. Put them together, see what happens, maybe what could happen. So I just work on those things. And I have a catalog of hundreds of ideas, and most of them suck. And then you get the ones like, that's not bad, and then you get ones like, that's really good, and you just kind of work it until you get it done. So,
yeah. How long have you been writing?
Only screenplays for only a few years, maybe 3 or 4 years. So, yeah, somewhere thereabouts. And I'm working on 8, 9, and 10 right now.
Wow.
Yeah, all feature lengths.
Wow,
yeah.
That's ambitious.
It is.
Yeah.
Can I give a piece of advice to beginning writers?
You can, yes, of course, it's about you.
If you're a beginning writer, get it done, because your first screenplay probably sucks. Just move on to the next one. The next one, each one was like, for early on screenplays, it was like a whole year of college. It was like getting one done, you're like, wow. And then you get to the next one, it's like, I learned a lot,
So is the learning process just working with other people and trying to get it done, or is it about the writing itself?
For me, it's largely writing. Early on, it's about just writing. Like you just have to put in the time in the seat writing, just like in anything else. As you kind of go along, I've taken on writing partners over this past year, and that's sped up some of the process. Just the development process has helped. But it's still, it's that time. You got to get up early or work late, whatever your habits are.
Yeah, or no sleep at all.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. I'm a 5-hour a night kind of guy.
So you're in the shower and you get these little downloads. You go, yeah, that's going to work.
I've never really had those. I see scenes sometimes, but I'm not the guy, I'm not walking down the street and come up. I usually, what I get names or something like that. Someone's name catches my ear, and I'm like, that's a really interesting name. Or it's an interesting idea, an interesting profession or something like that, yeah.
And do you have a little memo thing in your phone? Or?
I've got flashcards, and I've got a huge old database of stuff on my computer. So if that ever crashes or goes away, if Dropbox goes away, I'm dead.
So, Laureen, was this your first film that you worked on?
The first, basically the first big film. I've done shorts, with Sean on the 48-hour film festival and with some other folks, and worked with you guys here, which has been fun. And but yeah, this was the first big one, and through this we learned so much. You don't realize. And I mean, all you can really do is say, I'm going to make a movie. And that's how it starts. You just do it, and you grow and you grow and you learn. And from this experience, you kind of realize, okay, this is what we're going to do next. This is what we're going to do next for this. And you just grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what kind of background did you have to be a producer? You seem to be a very
education.
organized person.
No. I got
organization is huge.
I think a lot of it comes from the job I'm in now. Is basically I've come from, being an operations manager in a bank to an IT network, support engineer, to now into a big project management role for our whole desktop optimization, which is global. And so all of that, those skills kind of came together because you had to organize things and make sure things came together, and you had to do documentation, and you had to research. So all of that basically helped with this, because we had to do quite a lot of that, getting your locations, securing your releases, paperwork, all of that good fun stuff. So
there's a little bit of paperwork in making a movie.
Oh, so, yeah.
Little, yeah, it stacks up. Yep.
Yeah. Definitely.
Well, that's a good time. Well, I'm really happy that you guys, got her done, and hats off to you, because that certainly is a lot of work. So what were your responses to the movie? Was everybody just thrilled with it? And
Yeah, I mean, it really was.
surprising.
Yeah, I think they were surprised. Some were surprised at how intense it was. They know me, and they never saw like that amount of like dark material coming out of me, I guess, as some of that is. But many of the responses were what you had said. It's intense. That's when they get done watching it. That was intense. That's pretty much it. And so, yeah.
Definitely.
So how did the organization respond to your wanting to donate? Are they aware of what you were doing?
Oh yeah, completely. They were
Yeah.
on board, and they were great. They came and presented. A girl who had been in human trafficking since she was, how old was she?
Oh, I think she was
2 or
like
3 years
it was young because her,
It was really young.
her
Her
parents actually
sold her
her.
into
Yeah.
human trafficking. Really young, like 2 or 3. I'm thinking she did her first pornographic movie at 5, and then it was just crazy story. So they actually came and presented that night just to kind of put a face to what would have just been a movie kind of a thing. But they were on, and I actually got to take hats off to them, because I kind of expected hey, thanks, why don't you just send us the money? And it's a very intense movie,
Yeah.
So I don't know how people would respond. It seemed to go well.
Great. So where's the movie going now? It's been shown at the Crest. Is
Film
that
festivals.
Film festivals?
We got to making the circuits, going around to we're looking Texas.
Texas we've got a few in Texas and
Oaxaca.
Oregon. Oh, yeah, well, yeah. I don't know how to say that. But
Okay, there's going to be a story behind that one.
There's a lot of places. It's just going out. Everyone keeps asking about distribution, and we cannot actually put it online as a distributed film until it's done with film festivals. Otherwise, it has distribution disqualifies. So.
Wow.
Man.
Well, again, even that part of it is so time consuming, and you're taking a risk of putting it out there and be rejected and all that too. So to have the reception that you're getting is, again, bravo. That's so super. Okay, well, when are you going to start your next one?
Well, the screenplay is almost done. We're about 2 weeks out on the treatment, and about another couple weeks after that for probably screenplay completion. So that'll be done fairly quickly, and then it's just fun. We're doing funding. I'm not doing another free flick. So we're doing funding on the next one, so we have to get funding together, and it won't be exactly cheap, but it'll be cheap by Hollywood standards. That's for sure. So.
Is it because of all the action and?
Yeah, there's just with stunt choreography, and we did our own stunt choreography, and we essentially had a guy bring one of the guys that ends up dying in the movie brought his little kid's twin bed, and then dove back on it, blew it up, because it just exploded out the backside. We're like, oh, maybe that's the reason stunt people actually have the right gear. It's we shouldn't do that. So it's going to be, there's cost involved with doing those kind of things. So nothing extravagant, not by Hollywood standards, but enough that. That's want to invest. I call it investing in on-screen dollars, things that you will actually see on screen.
Yeah. All right, and will it be filmed locally?
Very, very likely. We're talking about here and then possibly some establishing shots in San Francisco. So it will probably be set in San Francisco, but shot locally and in San Francisco.
Super. Well, let's get to some information about the both of you. So our viewers want to contact you or get some information.
Okay. Easiest way is to go to Facebook and /splash the movie, and that'd be the easiest way. And then also splashthemovie.com. We have a website up. It has lots of bios and other cool information to find. So you can connect via Facebook is probably the easiest way.
Okay. Now, are you going to, for your next movie, are you going to put it on one of those sites where you fund the money, Indiegogo or something like that?
I don't think so. The things we've seen on Indiegogo and all that, they really have to have a huge online following.
Yeah.
Some of the best one, Freddie W does one, and his little movies that he does gets 1 or 2 million views each time.
Yeah.
We're nowhere near that, and he only got, even out of that, having that big of an audience, only got $300,000 for his latest flick that he did. So unless you're Woody Allen, which I am not.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, maybe someday. I won't be as witty, but they can pull it off. They can pull that off. I think this is going to have to be private funding through people who are just insane enough to go along on the journey with us.
Well, I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Super. Well, let's give a little bit of information about the Story Connection, shall we?
The Story Connection airs the second and fourth Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Our companion show, Paranormal Connection, airs the first and third Thursdays of each month. Each episode repeats the following Friday at 1:30 p.m. and Saturday at 5:30 a.m. Watch these programs online at the same airtimes by going to accesssacramento.org and clicking Watch 17. In the Sacramento region, you can see us on Comcast Channel 17 and on AT&T Channel 99. You can find previously aired shows on the Story Connection YouTube channel. For information on upcoming shows and previous Story Connection guests, go to storyconnectiontv.blogspot.com. You can contact us at storyconnectiontv@gmail.com, and don't forget, find us on Facebook, become a friend, and become a fan.
Wow. Okay. So we've got your current project and then your next project. I'm sure you're going to keep in touch with us. Let us know what's going on.
Absolutely.
We have the Story Connection page, so anything you'd like to share on Facebook on the Story Connection page, please do. You know, we'll get all your information up there, and if you want to update people on what's going on, we'd love to hear from you. Okay?
Yeah.
So any parting words that you'd like to share with the audience before we wrap it up here?
Well, I think if they can go out and like us on Facebook, take a look. We're going to have some red carpet pictures and more of the interviews, actually in-depth interviews, and just a lot of other things that will be coming, and just kind of keeping in the loop with the film festivals and what's happening.
Yeah, like us on Facebook, absolutely. It's a great way to connect with us and find out where we're going to be as far as film festivals next and even the next projects that we've got coming up. Absolutely.
Well, good. I wish you all the best of luck, and I commend you. You guys are film gods. So thank you everybody for joining us tonight, and we want to let you know that we're going to be out and about looking for stories. So if somebody comes up to you and says, "What's your story?" That could be me, it could be one of the crew. So that's what we're looking for: musicians, artists, filmmakers, authors, everyone who has a story and can tell the story behind the story. We want to have them on the show, share it with the world, okay? So thank you again, and thanks to my fabulous, wonderful crew, Greg, Ted, Laura, and Lisa. You guys rock, and without them we wouldn't have the show. So that's my story behind the story for tonight, and that's it. Good night, everyone.